Howdy, partner. Tired of your D&D players figuring out your dastardly plans? Want to mac on some bad drow hunters while being fly on the dungeon's block? Well, look no further, because this video is your one-stop shop to becoming the dungeon master of your dreams. These are the 3 G's of dungeon mastering, youngin'. Make sure to keep these tenets, and baby, you gonna be corralling your players like a YouTuber does the young, innocent-minded children. Oh, wait a minute. That was a close one. That means I have your consent, right?
Gaslighting, a long-stay tool found in the typical dungeon master's arsenal. First used by the ancient Greeks, where the first findings of tabletopping emerged from the wacky tales of Herodotus himself. There just happens to be less young, nubile young men to take advantage of in the present. Well, at some tables, at least.
In today's modern era, it is now frowned upon to be a gaslighter. A tragedy, really. But what they don't want you to know is that it only counts as gaslighting if your players find out they're being gaslit. Alright, let's take a look at the definition of gaslighting. The manipulation of someone into questioning their perception of reality. That's like D&D in a nutshell. It's a game that's just begging for a manipulator such as yourself. You dirty dog, you. Now, how do you utilize this long forgotten art in tabletop? Well, it's simple. First, you gotta separate the dungeon master and the NPCs you're playing. As a dungeon master, you can't really gaslight because you have to be the neutral mediator for the players. You gotta be the beacon of truth and prosperity for these guys, because they look to you for progression. This is it, y'all. This is the price I gotta pay for using free stock footage. God, I gotta get a better budget for these videos. You take that trust away and it turns the whole game into a me versus them scenario, and Crit Crab makes an extra 50 bucks on you. But nowhere does it say an NPC's got to have the same morals. Look, it's even in the book. See? It's right here. What the fuck? You see, information on an adventure is unreliable, because what do you mean Villager A knows exactly where the Demon King's treasure is? He's too busy porking his cousin in the town next over. Or maybe an NPC is just pretending to be nice and befriend the party. But you also gotta let the players showcase their talents at differentiating the bullshit from the truth. Yeah, I know, the insight skill exists, but you can also gaslight with other clues, like a mysterious set of footprints diverging from the path they thought was the correct route. At least the ranger can finally be fucking useful for a change. But you gotta be careful with gaslighting. You can't do it all the time. It's like a little bonus mission for you that you can spice things up a little. Or maybe use it to play around with some illusionist shenanigans to get some new story beats going on. I don't know, man. You're the one running the game. Gotta get creative with it. Gaslighting's cool, but it's gotta be fun and for special occasions. Kinda like cocaine. Not that I do that kind of stuff, but you know, it's definitely like it. But I wouldn't know, because I don't condone drug use. But I'd imagine it's very similar, but it's too bad I don't do it, because cocaine is bad for you. It sure seems fun though. What's the next topic again? 5 years I've been creating on this platform, about 1 to 2 years if you consider when I started doing tabletop content. A long time for the beautiful fruition of roughly 4,300 subscribers. Don't worry, I still love ya, but despite all that time, I don't really talk about myself a whole lot, because I'm a man, and sometimes a man's just gotta keep their own personal information a little bit of a secret. Totally has nothing to do with the fact that I get fired if my job found out some of the things I've said on this platform. You give off cool
PDF file
vibes, like you low-key like kids, but you got therapy and have impulse control, so you would never hurt one, if you know what I mean. I'm a
PDF file.
Dude, so this makes me feel comfortable. Listen, that's what you gotta start doing with your campaigns. Keeping secrets, not the, You know, not the other thing. And I ain't talking to the nerds who run Wizards of the Coast owned adventure paths. I want my folks deep in the mud, home brewing their own little personal Disneyland. I know how exciting it is to want to blow your whole load of exposition in the first tiddlywinks of a campaign. But mystery and intrigue is what hooks the players in. You gotta let them discover piece by piece what the plot is. Give your players a couple crumbs to munch up like pieces of young Ethiopian kids at a R. Kelly concert. But gatekeeping doesn't stop at just a storyline. It's your players themselves too. You see, there's different types of D&D parties. You got folks there for the stories. Others just want a number crunch. I don't know, maybe there's some freaks out there looking to get their rocks off by role-playing a controversial presidential figure.
We have a magic dictionary on my back.
I feel like that's just an unimaginably cruel thing to do. I think we should kill him.
I think we should keep him alive as a steady supply of wool.
Oh, that's an even better idea. Maybe he'll grow
What
up.
the fuck is wrong with y'all? What?
Whoa. You're saying that death would be better than
Death is certainly preferable to being a human wool machine.
We'll feed him.
Maybe for him, but not for Donnie.
I don't know. I'm not here to judge. But you gotta be careful of who you invite to an existing campaign. You can't just go willy-nilly and end up with a 10-person party because, you know, that kind of fucking sucks. I'm not saying you shouldn't introduce new people to the hobby, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna let a stranger take a seat at my dinner table, eating my food with his shoes on, disrespecting me in my house. I might as well just let him have a go at fucking my wife while I'm at it. You think this is a goddamn Critical Role menage a trois? I'll be damned if I'm gonna let a little rat wriggle his way into my campaign. You gotta go through the battle chambers before I judge you good enough to partake in my baby. Okay, maybe it's not that deep, but I do think that sometimes you gotta learn to respect yourself as a DM and choose your battles. No, your girlfriend cannot join my campaign. Your coworker Steve? Well, he's not allowed within 100 feet of a school, so his roleplay might not be what I want at a table. If I got the time for it, maybe they get a one-shot. If it's good enough rapport, then maybe they got a chance in the big leagues. You gotta decide if a new person is gonna be a good fit for everyone at the table. Because maybe it's not the best idea to invite Weinstein to the Women's Empowerment Sesh on Fridays. Maybe I don't want to sit there and watch Terry Matthews go on a rant about how eugenics should be implemented between high elves and the drow. Sometimes you just gotta be an asshole, which brings me to my favorite of the 3 Gs. God, there's nothing that makes me feel more like a bad bitch than being a dungeon master. Because being the biggest queen is what it means to be a man. I'm tired of all these people online saying you gotta be nice to your players. Yeah, you guys can suck it. Do you know how much work it is being a dungeon master? Stop being a fucking and strap on your boots. It's okay to say no. Let me let you in on a little secret. Players are stupid. It's like a little mind disease that takes over your brain the moment you have no responsibility. Trust me, I'm guilty of the same thing. I'm not saying go out there and get your ass canceled. There's a balance to every piece of advice that I give. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But for the love of God, put your foot down when the time comes for it. I know you've seen all those Reddit posts of people asking things like, my player keeps sexually harassing everyone at the table. What do I do? What the fuck do you mean, what do you do? Kick their ass out. Grow some cojones and talk to them like a goddamn man. Or woman, or ambiguous gendered pronoun. I don't know what the fuck you are. Listen, being a dungeon master is like being a parent, except all your kids are autistic. You gotta grab them by the hand and slowly talk to them. Don't go too crazy now, because you know your players got sensory issues. You gotta be smooth with it when you call people out. Don't let them step on you, but don't go too far. These folks are supposed to be your buds, and this advice extends even to my special little forever players and the viewers. Who's your good boy? Who's your good boy? Who's your good boy? Alright, get the fuck out of here. But if you got a Joshua block at your table, then maybe you can go ahead and give them the old Ms. Kiff special. Don't be afraid to be the asshole when it's needed. Taking control of the campaign is what you're there for. And if telling your players to shut the fuck up when you're giving some exposition is what you need to get that done, then by golly, throw a couple slurs in there for me.